My name is Avery Sinclair. I'm 28, and for the last 4 years, I've worked as a logistics coordinator for a mid-sized shipping company in Dallas, the kind of job that looks clean on paper and feels like a constant low-grade fire in real life. People hear logistics and think boxes. What they don't see is the invisible panic behind every delayed truck, every missing pallet, every customer who swears their cargo is time sensitive, like they're the only one on the planet with deadlines. You spend the whole day solving problems that aren't technically yours, and by the time you get home, you're too tired to solve the ones that actually matter. Which is probably why I didn't fight harder for the small things in my relationship. Not at first. Because for 2 years, I honestly believed I didn't have to. I'd been dating Cameron Hayes for exactly that long. 2 years. That, in my head, had settled into something steady. We met at a mutual friend's backyard barbecue. Cheap folding chairs, paper plates bending under potato salad, a speaker struggling through a summer playlist. I remember walking up with a six-pack and seeing him standing off to the side with this quiet half-smile, like he was watching everything but not trying to be part of it. He wasn't loud. He wasn't showy. And somehow, that made him feel safe. Cameron worked in marketing for a mid-sized tech company downtown, the kind of guy who always looked put together without looking like he tried. Crisp shirts, clean shoes, hair always done in that effortless way that took effort. He had this calm confidence that made rooms settle when he walked into them, like people just adjusted their volume to match his. With him, I felt softer, not weaker, just less braced. We weren't perfect. We had the usual arguments. Who forgot to buy coffee? Why he always left cabinet doors open like a ghost lived with us? Why I stared at work emails after dinner like my screen was going to bite me? But overall, we were good. Or at least, I thought we were. About 3 weeks ago, he mentioned a trip. Guys' weekend, he said casually, scrolling on his phone while I chopped onions for dinner. Austin, college friends, the annual reunion thing. I barely looked up. That sounds fun. It'll be chill, he said, just 2 nights. Austin wasn't far. A couple hours. Nothing dramatic. I didn't think much of it. In fact, I told him he should go, that it was good to have his own time, his own friends. And I meant it. I even offered to drive him if he needed. Then came the line. It happened 2 days before he left. We were sitting on the couch, some true crime documentary playing in the background. One of those shows where a calm narrator explains horrific things like they're describing a recipe. I was half listening, half answering emails on my laptop. Cameron was on his phone again. Not unusual, technically, but lately it had been more. More screen glow on his face. More quick smiles he didn't share with me. More little thumb movements, like he was replying fast to someone he didn't want waiting. I glanced over and said lightly, "Your friend's really planning this down to the minute?" He didn't look up. "Yeah, they're being annoying." I smiled. "Well, try not to get arrested. I don't have time to bail you out." That got a laugh out of him. Quick, easy. Then he finally put his phone down and looked at me. "Hey," he said, "just so you know, it's a guys-only trip." I blinked. "Okay." And then, like he'd rehearsed it, like it was a line he'd been waiting to deliver, he added, "Don't be clingy about it." He didn't say it like a joke. He said it like he was setting a rule. My laptop fan whirred in the silence after that. On TV, someone was reenacting a crime scene in dim lighting, bloodless and dramatic. And I just went still, because I hadn't asked to go. I hadn't even hinted at going. I hadn't said anything that deserved that tone. I looked at him, searching his face, waiting for the part where he smiled and said, "I'm kidding." But he didn't. He just grabbed the remote, turned the volume up, and leaned back like he'd finished a task. Something warm in my chest cooled so fast it felt like embarrassment. Not because he'd said no, but because he'd assumed I would beg, or worse, because he needed to shut it down before I even opened my mouth. I swallowed, forced my voice to stay even. I wasn't being clingy. He shrugged. "I'm just saying." "Why are you just saying?" I asked. His jaw tightened, tiny, almost invisible. "Because last time I went out with them, you got weird." I stared at him. "I got weird?" "You kept texting," he said, asking when I'd be home. "I asked if you were okay," I corrected, my voice sharper now, "because you weren't answering, and it was almost 2 a.m. He held my gaze for a second too long, then looked away. "Whatever. I just don't want drama." Drama. That word always did something to me. It painted me as irrational before I even spoke. It turned my feelings into a problem he had to manage. And the worst part? I could feel myself wanting to back down just to keep the peace. So I did what I'd trained myself to do at work. What I did with angry clients and delayed shipments and drivers who swore they never received that pickup request. I went quiet. I nodded once, like I was acknowledging a fact, not swallowing something sharp. Okay, I said. Cameron's shoulders relaxed immediately, like he'd expected resistance and was relieved not to get it. He leaned over, kissed my temple, and said, Good. Good. Like I'd passed a test I didn't know we were taking. After that, the week moved forward like normal on the surface. Wednesday night, we had Thai takeout on the couch. He ate too fast, like he was in a hurry to get somewhere, even though we weren't going anywhere. His phone sat face down beside him, something he never used to do. Thursday night, I helped him pack. He stood by the bed, throwing clothes into his duffel like he'd done it 100 times. Then he paused, held up 2 shirts. Which one? He asked. The question was normal, familiar. The kind of small intimacy I used to love. I forced a smile. The blue. You look good in blue. He nodded, tossed it in. I'll bring the black one too, he added. Just in case. Just in case of what? He shrugged. Different places, different plans. It was casual, but it stuck with me. Cameron wasn't an overthinker. I was. So when he started packing like he was preparing for multiple scenarios, it should have registered louder. But I didn't let it, because I didn't want to be suspicious. Friday morning, he left. He kissed me at the door. I'll text when we get there. Okay, I said. At noon, he texted. Made it safe. I replied, Good, have fun. No response. That evening, after work, I opened Instagram without thinking, and Cameron's story popped up. First photo, him and 3 other guys at a rooftop bar. Drinks raised. City lights behind them. Normal. Second photo, same group, and a woman standing close beside him. Not front and center, not posed, just there. Tall, glossy hair, familiar posture. Cameron's arm rested along the back of her chair, not wrapped around her, but close enough that it didn't feel accidental. She leaned toward him as she laughed, and the look on his face, that one hurt, because it looked easy. Not new, not awkward. I stared at the photo until the story looped. My stomach tightened. You're overreacting, I told myself. Maybe she was someone's girlfriend, maybe a friend from college, maybe nothing. But the ease between them didn't feel random. And suddenly that line, don't be clingy, didn't sound like a boundary. It sounded like a warning. I didn't text him right away. I waited. I paced. I watched the story again. Then I sent a message, neutral enough to feel distant even to me. Hey, looks like you're having fun. Who's the woman in your story? No reply. By midnight, the story updated again. Different bar, same woman. This time Cameron was holding the phone, taking a group selfie. The caption read, Reunited. That word landed heavy. Not met. Not ran into. Reunited meant before. I didn't sleep. Sunday morning, I opened Instagram again. Outdoor brunch. Coffee cups. Sunlight. Cameron sat across from her, leaning forward, smiling like nothing weighed on him. The caption, Best weekend ever. Something inside me went very still. I blocked his number. Blocked him on Instagram. Blocked him everywhere. It felt quiet. Clinical. If he wanted to explain, he knew where I lived. Monday night, as I was getting ready for bed, my phone buzzed with an Instagram message request. From a name I didn't recognize. Lena Whitfield. The message read, Do you even know what happened to your boyfriend? My heart slammed into my ribs. I typed one word. What? 3 dots appeared instantly. This is Lena, Cameron's friend from college. We need to talk. Please call me. I hit call before I could overthink it. She answered on the second ring. Avery? Lena's voice was tight, like she'd been crying or holding it back. Yes, I said, my heart beating so hard it felt like it was pushing air out of my lungs. What's going on? There was a pause. Not dramatic. Practical. The kind people take before saying something that can't be unsaid. Cameron's in the hospital. The room tilted. I sat down hard on the edge of my bed, phone pressed to my ear, my free hand gripping the comforter like it could anchor me. What? I whispered. What do you mean in the hospital? He was attacked Saturday night, Lena said, outside a bar. Some guy tried to grab his jacket. Things escalated. He fought back. My brain struggled to keep up, like the words were arriving out of order. Is he? My voice cracked. Is he okay? He's stable, she said quickly, but he's hurt. Concussion, broken nose, cracked ribs. They kept him overnight, and he's still there. Saturday night. I blocked him Saturday afternoon. He's been asking for you, she continued softly. He keeps saying your name, asking why you won't answer. My throat burned. We tried calling you, Lena said. From his phone, from mine. It went straight to voicemail. Did you block him? Yes, I admitted. I did. Silence. Then, carefully, why? Because I saw his Instagram, I said, the words tumbling out now. I saw him all weekend with another woman. Captions like, reunited and best weekend ever. It looked like he was cheating on me. Lena exhaled slowly. That woman is Emily, she said, his ex-girlfriend. My stomach dropped. She's in town visiting mutual friends, Lena continued. She showed up Friday night. Unexpected. So, he was with his ex? I asked. Yes, she said, but not like that. I laughed once, sharp and hollow, because the photos didn't look innocent. I know, Lena said quietly, and I don't blame you for thinking what you did. Emily's married. She has a kid. Cameron hasn't been with her in years. He didn't tell me, I said. He didn't answer my texts. He planned to explain when he got back, Lena said. He thought it was better in person. He didn't think the posts would land the way they did. And now? I asked. And now, she said gently, he thinks you blocked him because he got hurt. My chest tightened. He doesn't know you blocked him before Saturday night, she added. He thinks you saw he was in the hospital and decided you were done. I stood up, pacing, my bare feet cold against the floor. Which hospital? I asked. St. Mark's, she said. Ask for him at the desk. I didn't say goodbye. I grabbed my keys and left my apartment in sweatpants and a hoodie, hair still damp from my shower. Every red light felt personal. At the desk, the nurse glanced at her screen. You're Avery? She asked. Yes. He's been asking for you. The hallway was long and quiet, fluorescent lights too bright, too real. I stopped outside the door. My hand hovered. Then I pushed it open. Cameron lay in the bed, bruised and swollen, a bandage across his nose. One eye darkened, the other half open. When he saw me, his face crumpled. Avery. I crossed the room and sat beside him. I'm here. His voice broke. You blocked me. I thought you were cheating on me, I said quietly. I didn't know anything. He stared at me, searching. You thought I'd do that? He asked. You were distant, I said. And the posts. I didn't know how else to read them. He closed his eyes for a second. I handled it badly. I should have told you the moment she showed up. I didn't think. That mattered more than denial. I got attacked Saturday night, he said. I kept asking for my phone, and when they finally brought it, you were gone. Tears slid into his pillow. I thought something I did made you stop loving me. I never stopped, I whispered. I got scared, and I ran. You hurt me, he said, by disappearing. I know. I don't know if I can do this, he said quietly. If I do it again, I said, we're done. I understand. He nodded, exhausted. Stay, he murmured when I stood. So I stayed. I didn't sleep. I listened to the machines. I watched him flinch awake and tighten his grip on my hand. In the morning, a nurse checked his vitals. You're improving, she said, slow and steady. After she left, Cameron said quietly, Emily stopped by. I know, I said. I'm not angry at her. He looked surprised. I'm angry at the situation, I added, and at myself. I should have told you, he said. I won't handle things like that again. And I should have asked, I said, instead of assuming. When he was discharged, I drove him home. The apartment felt cautious. Don't smother me, he said gently when I hovered. I'm trying, I said. I'll learn. That night, he said, when you blocked me, it made me feel disposable. I'm starting therapy, I said, because I don't want fear deciding for me. That matters, he replied. The days after were fragile. I deleted Instagram. Not as a promise, as a boundary. If something bothered me, I would ask. When Cameron suggested a quiet trip once he healed, I agreed. Santa Fe was small and quiet. No signal, no captions. One night he asked, when you saw the photos, did you already believe I was capable of that? Yes, I said, not because of you, because I was braced for betrayal. That scares me, he said, and when you blocked me, it confirmed something for me too. That I run, I said. He nodded. In the mornings we walked. In the evenings we talked without abandoning the hard parts. Back home, things moved carefully. When he came home late one night, he said, with clients. I should have texted. I noticed the time, I said. I felt anxious, but anxiety isn't evidence. That was different, he said later. It was terrifying, I admitted. Weeks passed. Therapy helped. I learned the difference between boundaries and walls. Cameron became more transparent, not as proof, but as habit. One afternoon, he said, Emily texted. She's moving out of state. I believe you, I said. That moment felt bigger than it should have. Not because of her, because I didn't need control to feel safe. Later, he asked, if I hadn't been attacked, would you have come back? I don't know, I said, and that scares me. But I'm here now because I choose to be. We didn't make promises. We made agreements. To talk. To stay. To not disappear when things got uncomfortable. Some nights, doubts still surfaced. But now, instead of vanishing, I named it. And Cameron leaned in. Not perfectly, but consistently. And that was enough.